Bolajoko Fadigbe, the founder of and CEO Food Click Support Initiative, joins me now on Skype to talk more about this. Bola, good morning. It's good to have you join me right now. When it comes to the distribution of food and being efficient and being effective, you've been doing this for so many years. But I know you have seen videos and reaction of Nigerians following how either Lagos or any state for that matter, how the food is being distributed, food packages have been distributed, how they complain of not being adequate or even the process of distribution. What do you make of all of this when you see these things?
Yes, thank you very much and good morning and happy Good Friday to you. Yes, we've actually seen some of the video, and I think it's going to get better compared to the first day when the stimulus started. I believe more people have been enlightened, more people have been educated on that. This thing is not for everybody. It's actually for the poor of the poor in the society, in the community. Food Click, for example, we've been trying our best using smaller cells and smaller volunteers who have been helping us distribute these things into areas whereby we can reach. We've made use of private individuals, we've made use of private cars, we've made use of even CDA. And I believe through this we've been able to reach more people. And I just hope that the government too can also try their best and use initiatives like this.
Let me ask this question that a lot of people have been asking. When it comes to finding out the poorest of the poor that is always mentioned, what is the criteria for someone being among the bracket of poorest of the poor? And what is also the criteria of knowing where they are when it comes to the data and reaching out to them?
Yes. Firstly, you don't need to walk too far to see somebody who is poor or who is hungry or who is in need in Nigeria, Lagos State and other parts of Nigeria, because it is written everywhere, except you don't want to be honest with ourselves. In every community, except you don't want to look, except you are not observant of what is happening in your community, you know who are poor in your community, you know who are earning less, you know who are struggling. Yes, all due respect to some location, there are some areas which is highly densely populated with a lot of poverty. Yeah, so when you go to areas like this, you see people who are poor. Apart from that, we are also in the city, but within the excitement and all the wealth of Lagos, Lagos and other parts of the city, there are still a lot of people struggling with hunger, a lot of people who are poor. So, like I said, through our own partnership with Nuhela, what we do is that we identify people in this city who can always point people towards that Mr. A is poor, Mr. A is in need, Mr. A is struggling with hunger. This is a particular community where majority of those in that community, they earn less than, well, the global benchmark that they earn more than $1. There are even some people who don't even earn at all. These are widows, these are physically challenged, these are destitute. So through that, we've been able to reach out to them. So through this way, you can know who the poor of the poor are. And like I said also, you don't need to walk too far before you see somebody who is in need.
All right, let's talk about the process of distribution. What is the ideal process of distribution in such a way that a number, even if we have 100 packs of food or package or food item or food stuff and it's meant for some people, for instance, what is the ideal process of distribution so that they have it and we also keep in mind the issue of social distancing in such a way that all the protocols of safety during the COVID-19 is adhered to?
Yes, I think there should be more like an enlightenment in the area. For example, I'm always using I'm always using Food Click as a case study. Before we distribute in a particular area, we try as much as possible to meet some people who we educate about what we want to do. So on getting to that location or that area, these people, they'll be the ones to help us. So there will be no need of people gathering together, their social distance. We know the buildings we are going to, we know the people we want to go and sit here. And through that, we can ensure social distance. Fewer people can be on the street, fewer people can also be on the road. So I believe those are some of the areas which we've been using, and to the glory of God, it has been working fine to an extent.
How close to this ideal is the Lagos State distribution of food distribution and all the stimulus packages?
I have to commend the effort of the Lagos State. because it is being done by Lagos State, a lot of Lagosians, they have this entitlement thing that, oh, it is by Lagos State, we can collect it. It is our tax they are using, and so because of that. So I think that is just the challenges Lagos State are having. Where we've been going to, we just say that, oh, this is a charity organization, this is not government funded, though Lagos State is providing some support in terms of logistics, ensuring free flow through the security agencies. We've been able to move freely into this area. So once we explain to them that, oh, this is not from the government, this is a charity organization which is funded by our partner Noella Foundation and other foundations, PTA Foundation, all these foundations coming together and other charity organizations. So we explain this to them. So I also advise that if Lagos State can make use of charity organization in Lagos State and Nigeria, they command respect from individuals because people know their money is also going there. So once they hear that, oh, it is by a charity organization, they accord respect to them, they let them operate. But some of the distribution by the government has been done through local government council, whereby some people assume that, oh, because this is my area, I can control it. So that is just a, but we must still commend the effort of Lagos State. It's not easy trying to feed the whole Lagosian, especially when you are like when you control the state.
All right, Bolajuko Fadigbe, thank you so much for talking to us on TVC Breakfast. Bolajuko Fadigbe is the founder of and CEO of Food Click Support Initiative. He joins me now on Skype. Bola, good morning. It's good to have you join me right now. Now, government is doing so much from the reports we get, and for a state like Lagos, for instance, doing the much it can do for the people. But talk to us about the level of communication, because there's still controversy around food distribution. There's controversy around the monies that are being transferred to the vulnerable and all of that. What do you make of how government is communicating to people to make them understand and see clearly what they're doing?
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning. Yes, government is trying their best to communicate, but I think some people are for the less privileged, are for the poor of the poor. We've also been receiving phone calls from people that, oh, we need food, we don't have food to eat. I ask some questions. These are people, children in private school, working in big parastatals. Yes, I understand and I respect them also. But the communication has been poor, and also people are not being honest enough with themselves that you don't need this thing, but because it is free. I remember yesterday while doing our distribution somewhere around Lagos, somewhere around Victoria Island, giving the poor of the poor, some of the people on the street, some of the workers, those living in smaller shelters. We saw a particular man that parked his car and asked us for one of the parking. We told him that this is for the poor. He left, and at the end of the day, while making another purchase, we saw the same man at the particular market trying to stock his car. I was now like, sir, you were still the same person asking us for one of these emergency symbols. So I believe the communication has been poor, and also people have not been receiving this information very well. And to also know that some of these stimulus packages by Lagos State government and other governments within Nigeria is actually meant for the poor and the poor. I remember I also said that when the Lagos State official sent a text message to my dad that he has qualified for the relief package. Yes, all glory to God, since he does not need it. He informed them that he's not in need of it. But you see other people collecting this thing, even though they don't need it. You see some people struggling and hustling with the poor people to collect some of these relief packages when you don't need it. You see some of those who are meant to distribute this thing, keeping 100, keeping 50 to themselves when you know that you don't need this thing.
Yeah, but that brings us, I like the point you have made, but that brings us to the method and methodology in the distribution. If it is efficient the way it's supposed to be, why should one person have access to 10, 20, 30, 50, or even 100 bags or packages of anything?
Yes. One of the reasons I think that is happening is that some people are just not being honest enough. Food Click and Noella Foundation.
What we did is to the government officials who are doing the distribution, or the people who are waiting to collect them?
Yes, both the officials and those doing the distribution. We, for example, what we are using use of trusted volunteers, trusted people in the community. So what we do is that they get people who are in need, they get the poor of the poor for us, and we distribute to these people who also distribute to those who are in need. These people are not being greedy. These people are not selfish. They do what they are meant to do. They know that these items are meant for the poor. But when you try to use some people, maybe those in the ministry, those in the council, they assume that this thing is meant for us. It is our money that Lagos State government is using, and because of that, they are trying to jeopardize the effort of Lagos State government. And also, I also want to suggest to governments, Lagos State government and other government to make use of charity organization. Charity organization command respect from people in the community. Most of all the communities, most of all the places we've been going to the glory of God, it has been problem-free. When they see us, they respect us. You even see some of them trying to buy water for us, some of them trying to offer support to us. So this is just some of the things we've been able to do to achieve success to an extent with our own food distribution.
All right, what else do you think the government can do to make this distribution more efficient? Now, there's a talk about the 20,000 naira or the 10,000 naira distribution or cash transfer. A lot of people are still waiting to look at, are still asking questions as to what is the criteria. When you're talking about the poorest of the poor, like you mentioned, a lot of them don't have bank accounts.
Yes, that is where the issue of data collection comes in. While during the registration of LASFA, a lot of people provided wrong information. Even the national ID card, you still see people providing wrong information. People who are not working, they'll tell you they are working in a particular place. People who have about 7 children will tell you that, oh, maybe it's just a child they have. So there's this problem of data collection, people not providing the right information. And if you don't provide the right information, it will be difficult for some of these stimulus packages to get to you. They want to consider you among some of the rich. And because of that, you will not qualify for it. You see people using fake information, fake age, fake area of residence. Even some people, they provided wrong information, wrong contact details. So when this relief package is even meant to be sent to you, or even this morning, people don't have bank accounts. Some of them felt that there was no need doing their BVN registration. Though I don't know how much the process the government are using to distribute this money, but this is just some of the challenges we've seen on the field while working. We've had an opportunity of interviewing some people that have they received the 20,000. Though some have received, and some are saying that they've not received. And when I ask them, do you have a BVN? They say no. Have you done your last registration? They say no. Have you done your national identification? They say no. So I now ask that it will be difficult for some of these things to get to you, especially the 20,000 the government is trying to give to every citizen.
Yeah, but in the same vein, like you said, certainly in Lagos State, some of the social data that they have, like LASRA and national ID card and stuff, certainly will be considered. But you know, a lot of a large number of the poorest of the poor don't have those either. So how do you balance, or how do you reconcile the issue of those who fall under this category and don't have any data can be given this, and those who fall under this category don't have any data cannot be given?
Yes, that is where the CDA comes into play. The CDA can also help with that. Some of these CDA, they have data. They have some data, though it might not be well proven to be accurate, but to an extent they have data. You see a particular CDA in the meta, you have data of almost everybody in that area, what they are doing, if they are working, if they are not working. So government can try to use that, and I'm sure that in some other areas too, they have an efficient CDA that can help them out. So that is why we've been using CDA for some of our distribution. They help us. They provide data for us. They provide information. So we have data scattered everywhere, whereby we know. And also we've also been using schools, students in public schools as the data. We see people recommend people so that because this person is in public school, because this person lives here, because this person lives in a particular slum, they want to assume that they are poor of the poor. And to be honest, some of them are poor of the poor. Yes, I hope that at the end of COVID-19 pandemic crisis, by God's grace, we will know the importance of keeping data, the importance of supplying right data and right information too.
All right, Bolajuko Fadigbe, thank you so much for talking to us on TVC Breakfast. Bola Fadikbe is the founder and CEO, Food Click Support Initiative, and he joins me now on Skype. Now, Bola, it's good to have you join me. I like us to share from your experience at Food Click. What are you doing differently? Because you have, before COVID-19, you have been on ground reaching out to people who are vulnerable one way or the other. Now, how are you bringing that experience to bear right now, this experience we have under COVID-19?
Yeah, sorry, can you come again? I lost connection. Well, can you come again with your question?
I am asking for you to share with us your experience at Food in the disbursement of relief materials and food to people. How challenging is it, or how easy is it for you?
Well, it has been both challenging, easy. Well, let's just give glory to God. Like what we said in Food Click, our own tagline is that we are stronger together. We believe we are in it together. Everybody has to do their own part. We all have to support ourselves. We all have to come together. So when we get to some of these communities or some of these places, we get support from those who live in.
All right, it seems we are losing signal from Bola there. He is the CEO of Food Click, and he has been involved with distribution of food even before COVID-19. And we were talking with him as to how he has been finding it challenging or easy in distributing food to people. Now, there has been controversy in the disbursement of food in Lagos and other parts of the country. Besides that, also monies. Now, government has arranged all the stimulus packages for Nigerians to just to lessen the burden on Nigerians as there's lockdown. Okay, I understand we have him back on now. Bola Joko, can you hear me now? Can you confirm that you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very
great,
well now.
Great. Now, you were talking to us earlier about how challenging or easy it is for Food Click to distribute food.
Yes, we've been able to. It has been challenging, and at the same time, we are making progress. We've been working with other partners, other individuals, other people in the community. Like our tagline in Food Click for this COVID-19 is that we are stronger together. In partnership with Corona. So in partnership with Noella Foundation, one of our major partners, which is also a charity organization like us, decided that why don't you all come together and do one thing, so we don't duplicate effort or replicate relief materials in other places. So we have capacity to provide for over 5,000 people between now and maybe Tuesday. And you also know that Easter is coming. Easter is in 2 days' time. People need some of these stimulus packages, and we have also been getting support from those in the community. Once they realize that, oh, this is a charity organization, they offer support to us as regards logistics, as regards movement, as regards identifying those who are in need. So let me just say that we are stronger together. We are in need together. We all need to do our part. TPC has been doing their own part. They've been also trying to create awareness about these stimulus packages and what can be done for people.
All right, Bola Fadikbe, thank you very much for talking to us on TVC.